Hey y'all, this is David, the Georgia photographer, and you gotta let me know in the chat if the fan is too loud. I've got it on low, pushing a little air. Let me move it out back so get it a little further. We'll back it up a little further from the camera and see. Of course, this is yet another unannounced live stream because I seem to be good for that. Wow. This thing is really struggling to figure out what I need to do here. Now, what if I tap and turn it this way? That seems to be a little more operational. We'll see what's going on. There's been some interesting things happened in the world of photography over the last couple of weeks, and I figured we'd go live for a little while and talk about those events, you know, and kind of just get an idea of what y'all's consensus was. And hey, look at there, Phil's here. How you doing, Phil? I'm trying to type. There. How you doing this evening? It like peeps. I think you're probably the only Pete. Maybe there's another. I don't know. But is the fan real loud? You can clue me in if I need to adjust the fan volume. I can fix that pretty easily. I've got my MacBook out here on the porch because if I live stream on this, you can see. There's my lock screen photo from last November. I have not changed it in almost a year, but can't hear it. Okay, thank you. The premise of today's stream on the office computer works is appeal. Yeah, that's one of the photos from the Fellowship of the Aperture Ring last year. But it's been an interesting couple of weeks, you know. There's speculation that Nikon's about to come out with a Gen 2 version of the FTZ adapter, and everybody's doing this hoping it'll fire AFD lenses. Me and Heather are going to see elk Sunday. Really? It's getting that time. Yeah. You going to Cherokee to see them? Yeah, you can tell the fan's blowing this way. It's blowing the smoke off camera. I did mark this video not for children, so I can smoke. Yeah, Cherokee. That's the herd that this one was in. Now, this one was in Cataloochee National Forest, which is on the other side of National Forest from Cherokee over in Maggie Valley. You go to the north end of Maggie Valley, almost back to the interstate, and then you take a forest access road into the National Forest. It's real windy, and it drops down into this beautiful valley on the other side. And that day, it was, I don't know if it was below freezing or if it was right at the frost point, or it had been below, because everything had that hoarfrost on it. Like, I think you was the one that pointed that out. Like Thomas Eaton didn't even mention that at some point you have this like top 10 list of things you need to go shoot, and one of them was hoarfrost, and you can tell, you can even see it in the picture. All the sage, well, it looks kind of bizarre on there, but yeah, hoarfrost rules. Yeah, so you know to go early. You lived in this area, so yeah. Bucket list stuff. I need to look that video up and see how many I can check off and how many I got left to do, because I think I've done 2 or 3 of them. I actually figured there would be more people available to get online right now than there is. Somebody just jumped in, but yeah, the chat's open. Y'all are welcome to chat. I kind of like doing it on my Mac. I can type in the chat too. but yeah, dude. Oh, look. Oh, great. Oh, Okay, I get it now. Oh, that's funny. I don't know. Evening from the UK. I'm gonna have to work on this, man. Hold on. I'm working on cleaning this mess up. There we go. Sorry about that. He came in and started dropping all kinds of terribleness. But Bloomylicious, evening from the UK. How are you doing this evening? Oh, let's see what's going on here. Because now I can get text messages too. See what just happened. Something interesting just occurred. Oh, wow. If only I lived in Indiana. Aaron's up there photographing a thunderstorm in the sun. So as he puts it, trying to get lightning and a rainbow at the same time. That would be epic. Yeah, Bloomylicious says, the joys of nasty people on the internet, right? At least I got him blocked out. But Phil, let me tell him. He might be watching on his phone, waiting on a shower. Phil said, good luck. But I really hope that Nikon has generated this F to Z adapter for the AFD lenses. Popular request. I mean, people have been asking for it since the Z cameras came out, making F to Z with a focus motor, because there's so many of those lenses out there. And I get it. Nikon wants to kind of drive you to the Z lenses, you know, or the E series F mount lenses, which are electric aperture control lenses, the new E, not the old E. But, you know, with those, the F to Z current will drive the aperture and do all the stuff, and it works fine. But if you want your AF lenses, which they made countless millions of those lenses, then you really, really want that F to Z Gen 2, I guess, with a screw drive focus motor in it, because there's so many people. They could get so many people to adopt Z cameras and start easing into that Z system ethos if they just give them that segue tool. I just don't understand why they won't make it. You know they can. If they could make the focus work on the D850 and it works an F mount E series electronic aperture lens, then you know they can build the F to Z to do it. I just don't understand why they don't. It's just bizarre to me. This is going to bed. I hope more people turn up. Well, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Anthony Blake says, hi, David. I'm from Southern UK, too. Just got in from watching our local football team, the AFC Bournemouth. First time on the stream. Always good to watch your streams and videos. Look at there. Phone ringing. Didn't break the stream down. Let's see what she says. Hey, how you doing? I'm good. Knack to call during a live stream every time. But I thwarted your streaming on my Mac and you called my phone. So I'm still streaming at the same time. So all the streamers are actually watching me talk to you. Apparently. I thought you was going to link up with Sierra. Oh, okay. All right. Love you. Let's see. Phil Thatch says, I'd order one for sure, unless it's like $4,500 or something. Yeah, well, I don't know. It'll probably be in between $300 and $500. There's going to be a lot going on in that adapter. If they do build it, there'll be a lot in there, because, you know, you got to put the focus motor, all the supportive electronics to convert it from Z mount, pass through the focus mech to the F mount. There'll be a lot happening there. Plus the circuitry for the autofocus and probably the vibration control, you know, because it'll have to detect the lens information. What do they call that? The EXIF data, so that it knows what sensor stabilization settings to apply to the lens or to the sensor. Because, you know, I learned that with the Leica, is that each focal length has a different set of parameters they apply to the sensor stabilization. Because, you know, if you're shooting a 200 millimeter as opposed to maybe a 20 millimeter, then the sensor needs to respond to those jitters differently. And it's interesting to see that kind of algorithm having to be worked out. Let's see. Guess I can multitask. Hey, Aaron, he jumped in. Yeah, I figure you've got not remotes, what do they call them? The little wired trigger remote release. Yeah. Hey, Claire, how you doing? Thank you for stopping in. Let's see. Earl Lavore. Hello, Mr. Sailors. I have enjoyed your videos and photography. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. I was out today. I went for a couple hours downtown today and walked around and done a little bit of street photography. Today's theme was pairs. Either pairs that were opposing pairs or pairs that were matching, but pairs was my idea today. And I actually landed quite a few interesting little pairs. I really had one in mind, but I'm still looking for it. If I can find that one, I'm going to grab, because it come to me while I was on the stream. I'm not going to tell y'all what it is yet. If I can't find it under reasonable terms after a few trips to Chattanooga, I may start looking for one or tell y'all what I'm looking for. But I got a pretty cool one if I can work it out. But pears at the fruit stand, because I speak Southern, it's pears. Man, I can't even say it if I try without putting Southern accent on. Two of stuff. I'll get the F to Z too. Also, if it's smaller and clears my Z50 L bracket too. But again, it needs to be reasonably priced. Yeah, that's another problem with the F to Z I have right now is, like, if it's mounted on the camera and I have like my camera mounted on a tripod plate, I can't change the mount. I can't change take the F to Z and lens off without it hitting stuff. Like, it's a problem. But intervalometer, that's what it's called. Thank you, Aaron. So yeah, that is a thing that I would like to see resolved. If they could make the tripod footless F to Z, that would be a reason for me to get one of those. I currently have two F to Zs, and I think Phil does too. If he done what I did, he got one with his Z50 and one with his Z6 as well. And I use them both. There's been times when I've used them both. Let's see if I missed anything. Mike Mitchum. Hey, how you doing, Mike? Thank you for stopping by. Another thing is you keep seeing chat about the Z9. The Z9's coming. The Z9's coming. The Z9's coming. I don't know when. Probably, I'm going to speculate that they'll drop it in time for the holiday shopping season. Even though it's a pro camera and they're only going to sell like 8 of them, that it'll be a good time for them to drop that camera and try and stimulate some sales. I guess there'll be some semi-pros and maybe some wedding photographers will buy it. But, you know, they never sold a ton of the big workhorse monster, you know, pro series cameras anyway. You know, you see percentages, and like the D3300, D3500 is like 80% of their market. So right now, probably the Z50 and maybe that ZFC is like 80% of their Z market. And then you've got your mid-range cameras like the Z6 and Z7, or Z6 II, Z7 II, and that'll probably be like 10, 12, maybe 15%. And then that Z8 or 9 or whatever it's going to be will be like 3% or something, you know. It'll just be a little fraction because them things are going to be insanely expensive. Let's see. What have we got here? I have two. Heather has one. My ZFC is our only Z camera without its own F to Z. Oh, so you didn't get one. That's right. You ordered a different setup. Tech Assist is here. Nice to hear you again. And Tech Assist said hi to you, Phil. Yeah, that's something that's got me super interested is the F to Z adapter for the AFD lenses. I would love to see that happen. I don't have a lot of AFD lenses now. I sold a bunch of the ones that I've had over the years when I got that 500 millimeter phase Fresnel. And recently when I sold all that stuff to get the SL2, I sold some more of them that I didn't use. I've got a few left. I've kept a few of them that I like in particular, but the dog's down in the yard playing. But yeah, that's the big thing in the news in my world is that let's see, Z50 batteries are still hard to come by. I went to buy one not long ago, and they were sold out pretty well everywhere, and people are literally scalping them on eBay for like triple what they should sell for new. Just go search for it. You'll find them on eBay for like $150, $200. Z50 batteries. It's ridiculous. But I guess people are trying to turn a quick buck. You know, if you need a Z50 battery bad enough, they're there. You just have to pay scalper prices. Kind of like the crypto world where the graphics cards are all sold out, you know, and people go line up at Best Buy when they have a few get there and they buy them like it's, you know, some kind of Christmas toy. And then they turn right around and flip them on eBay for like triple what the MSRP is. The hat's here. Hey, how you doing? Greetings, matey. Every time I sat up late doing something tedious, you seem to show up on a stream. Your timing is superb. My timing is not superb. I seem to make a habit of never announcing my stream. I don't know what is my problem with that, but I can never seem to do that right. It just seems like I have a little free time by myself. See, like Teresa's gone with our daughter Sierra shopping. That's why she called. She was going over to see Sierra. And she normally, like if I strike the phone, which is my preferred weapon of choice, then when the phone call comes in, it breaks down the stream. The app on my phone and the telephone app can't cohabitate. So it breaks the stream every single time. That's why I got my MacBook Pro out and I'm streaming on it. Just kind of interrupt that loop to where it continue to work. Hassan, how you doing? Good to see you here. James Oliver showed up. The Z9 is supposedly the D5 and D6 replacement. If Z8 is the D850 replacement without the built-in vertical grip, then it will probably move me into mirrorless. Ooh. I didn't know. I've heard the rumors about the Z8, but I haven't seen anything like more official than what, you know, like Matt Irwin talks about, or, you know, some of the bigger YouTubers chat about some. I like to watch Matt Irwin. He's kind of cool. He hasn't got so big yet that he's, you know, he ain't growed out of his britches. He ain't too big for his britches, as they say. His YouTube videos are still kind of grounded in reality somewhat. He does a lot of talking points videos though. So I'll listen to him when I drive a lot of times. Phil says the RF 70 to 200, 2.8 and the 100 to 500 Canon lenses both raised their MSRP by $100 each. Now they're $2,800 a piece, and they're still sold out everywhere. Wow. Consider yourself fortunate. You got them both. Phil's been killing it here lately. If y'all haven't been watching Phil's videos, that R6 he bought is awesome. Then if you've ever wondered about getting a Canon camera, the R6 is probably the way to go. It's kind of been like a godsend for him. He has straight loved shooting with that R6. See here. I've been working on, okay, I'm going to jump gears back over to what I've been working on as far as content goes, and they're coming up. There's a couple of videos. I think next week is my Reno video. I've got a night photography video about Reno, Nevada coming out next week where I've done a bunch of night photos. And then starting the week after that, I'm going through a long list of lens reviews. Because Grant Govro down in Florida mailed me a box full of Nikkor lenses, vintage Nikkor glass. And I have been slowly but surely working my way through them. I got one left to do to shoot with. It's a kind of long lens, so I'm not real sure if I'll be able to shoot street with it. I did kind of power through with the 135 millimeter and got some photos, but the last one is like an 80 to 200, and that'll be a tough lens to work with. All of them but one. No, I take that back. The first three are shot on the D810. I drug it out of mothballs. There's Grant. Hi, he got in here. Good to see you. But yeah, I got to get these. Oh, look, the sun's peeking through the trees. I'm getting some cool accent lighting. There's a post right there, and there's beside the post. Yeah. But yeah, I got the 80 to 200 left to go, Grant, and then I'm going to box them up and send them home. Let's see. Richard Lang dropped in. Hey, from down under, just back from the morning walk. It's morning there. That's right. It's 7 p.m. here. The internet has really broken down the time of day for people. That's interesting. Let's see. Richard said, been watching you and Phil, a side Z50 user. Ah, nice. Z50. There it is. I haven't shot any photos except for a few wide angle photos with my Z50 in months. It's I don't normally shoot wildlife in the heat of the summer. I just ain't really super into that for some reason in the heat of the summer. So I don't use it much. And I only use my Z50 with my 500 millimeter or the 10 to 20 wide angle and basically nothing in between. It's just the way for whatever reason, it's how it works. Let's see. Phil says, I want some more Pentax glass. I like that 28 f3.5 I bought. He got a 28 millimeter just like mine. Wait till you see the video he's putting together. Tell me you're doing that video. Just tell me that video is going to come out, Phil, because that's going to be awesome if you did. He was working on a video the other day with that 28 millimeter Pentax lens, and it's going to be epic. Let's see. Yeah, Phil says, bought it because David made me. He's an influencer. Yeah. A little tiny, little bitty, small, microscopic influencer if I'm an influencer. I just like to be able to line up the orange marks and take photos with it. Isn't that how you say it? Just line up the dots. It works good for that. Let's see, the hat. Ah, so you have some more lens envy inducing material. This time, they're not mine, though. They're not my lenses this time. They're Grant's. I got to give them back. He kind of made that pretty clear. Thanks for the warning. I'll sell some stuff in advance for the inevitable eBay sessions that will happen soon. eBay has been my nemesis for the past month or two. I've been buying computer stuff. I've gotten on this kick. I'll run into like, not burnout. That ain't the right word because I still like photography. I'll pick up a new hobby, if that makes sense. Right now, it's Linux. And I'm learning how to to use Linux and write, like, I want to learn to write programs in Python. I've got some books on that. I'm going to play with a Raspberry Pi or two and play and do some stuff with them. I got some simple home automation I want to do with the Raspberry Pi, and I'm going to mess around with that and see if I can get it to do what I want it to do. But I'm learning how to write shell scripts and working the shell and things like that. But yeah, text editors and terminal code and all that jazz. But it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun, and they say never stop learning. You know, try to learn something new all the time. But I've always been intrigued by them. Ever since I got into ham radio, I've been intrigued with coding. I just don't do it a lot. And computers like these make you lazy. They make it so easy to not have to that you kind of forget it. So I've been learning that. It's been a lot of fun. Let's see. But yeah, I've been buying stuff on eBay. Phil Thatch says, because 9 a.m. there in Australia. Wow. Hassan says, taking my Mosler f2.8 out tomorrow for a walk around. Hope to get a few good shots. Dude, is that a Mosler 28 or a Mosler f2.8? That's cool. The Pentax Super Tachomer or the SMC or the Super Multi-Coated Tachomer, all of those are amazing lenses. And if you get that little f3.5, it's a little tiny lens, and it's beautiful glass. Takes stunning photos. And it completely eliminates the need to have to focus. If you shoot it on full frame, the wide angle nature of it, I think it's like 3.5, 4.5 feet to infinity is in focus enough for street photography. So you just literally frame up the photo and take the picture. Unless you're trying to get close to someone, just snap the frame, catch the moment. It's beautiful how easy it works. James Oliver, go shoot some U Sports with the vintage knock-on glass. Yeah, that'll be challenging. So he says, I do that all the time, and it works well. I used to use an 80 to 200 AFD at Little League Baseball with outstanding results. It just takes practice. That's what I have learned is if you'll just practice with the lens, and especially if you don't lens hop a lot, that makes a big difference because then you learn which way the focus runs, you know, because some of them run reverse of the others. And that's the problem I have is I lens hop too much. So I spend the first 15 minutes of my session relearning focus for whichever lens I'm using. So to try and eliminate that, I'm trying to use just certain lenses. And it helps a lot. But yeah, using the same lenses a lot will make you a lot better at manual focusing and getting focus quickly because you learn which way to turn the barrel. It just works. But if you do like me and you lens hop, then you struggle with that. Like I said, I'll spend the first 15 minutes of my photo walk relearning which way focus drive goes. You know, and there'll be a bunch of blurry or out of focus pictures where I focused, you know, I pulled it the wrong way and my subject's all blowed out in bokeh. I do it all the time. Phil says he got busy. I think Phil's still at work, but he says the 28-35 zone focus silliness is officially a video. Oh, I can't wait to see it. It's going to be epic. Looks like I'm starting to lose my light. What am I going to do to solve that? We may retire to the kitchen table because I have a good, strong, constant light source there. The color temperature will probably be jacked, but I can literally just unplug this and walk in there, and I'll have light because it looks like I'm starting to grain out pretty bad, but it's still some daylight. So I'll ride this till it goes dark. Anthony Blake says it's midnight in his world. Woo! Thank you for staying up to watch the stream. If y'all haven't hit the thumbs up yet, do that for me right quick. I appreciate it. Let's see. Hassan says it's 28 millimeter. Awesome, dude. South Alabama is still on my list. There's you, and there's a guy in Birmingham that has a little YouTube channel that I was watching for a little while. And I need to get down there. I ain't making excuses. I just haven't traveled where I couldn't drive just a few hours from home to get to it, you know. But I could probably be in Mobile in 4.5, 5 hours. Maybe about 4.5. I think Hassan's down in that area. Let's see. The hat. If you're ever stuck with any programming bits, feel free to drop me an email. I'm a programmer by trade, and your projects sound more interesting than mine. There's a few Linux issues I'm working through. I actually have a dual boot. I partitioned the hard drive on this Mac and put Linux Mint on that partition so I can play with it on this computer. And currently, the webcam doesn't work on the Linux Mint side of this computer. So I have to log into the Mac side. So I'm working through figuring out how to activate it. You can do it, and I've done it once, but I installed something wrong apparently, and I broke it. So now the webcam don't work on that side of the computer. I have to log in on this side to get it to work. So I'm not transitioned by any stretch of the word. I'm a triple operating system guy right now. I have Windows on my editing computer just because that was the OS that was on the machine when I got it, and I just use it to do resolve and exposure and all that stuff. And then I have, for my travel computer, I use a MacBook Pro. It's a 2015 model. It's getting a little long in the tooth now. I bought it new, and it's a good computer, but it's starting to get a little long in the tooth. And then I've got Linux Mint on this one and another one I'm playing with down in the shop office. I bought one of those little Chrome boxes. It's a tiny little single board computer that has Chrome OS on it, and it's meant for like web surfing and stuff like that. And I've hacked it, reworked the BIOS, and installed Linux. I think I've got Ubuntu on it. But you can get them things for like $40. So I bought one off eBay, and I've been playing with it down there. Let's see. Hassan says, I'll be here. Enterprise, Alabama. Southeast Alabama. Yeah. I need to head south. I need to get down there. I got some trips lined up. They're all fairly close to me, though, for the coming up months. Well, maybe I can make that work in the winter since it'll be warmer down there in the winter. Let's see. I will, Hat. I appreciate it. If you shoot me an email over to GeorgiaPhotog@gmail, so I'll have your email address. Unless you've already emailed me and I just don't know it. But that way I can, like you said, so far I've wrote a couple scripts in Windows to do some stuff, like playing around with some stuff. But I'm really wanting to explore the whole Linux thing. It just intrigues me. I like the idea of Linux. The whole open source community just sounds interesting. But yeah, let's see. What else is in the camera world that's been going on that's of interest? Let's see. I haven't bought any new lenses since Grant sent me a 5-gallon bucket full of them. I just haven't had the need to go buy some to review. I've just been shooting with the ones I have. I've really gotten fond of that. There's two primary lenses I'm really liking here lately, and that's that 28mm f3.5 Super Tacomer and the 50mm f2 Leica lens that I keep on that SL2. I really like both of them a lot. I've been shooting with those on the SL2 a lot here lately. I've been shooting the CL some, but it normally wears either a 28 or a 35, so it'll be a little longer than that. Like, I think those equate out to like a 40 or 42-ish and a 50 kind of equivalent field of views. And that works really well because it doesn't disturb the field of view I'm used to seeing on the SL2. Anthony Blake says, I have a bunch of Tacomers for my Fujis. Yeah, I thought I had a bunch of adapters for my Sony, but apparently I done something with them because I could not find them. In that last stream where I offered to give them away, a guy emailed me. And I went to get them out of the cabinet, and I literally could find one. I don't know what I done with them. I thought I had a bunch of them, but apparently I only had a couple, and I could find one. I sent it to him. Hassan says 40 millimeter f2 Nikkor. Oh, that's that new one that's supposed to be coming. That's a Z mount lens. That'd be nice on the Z50 because that'll push you out to about what, 60 on the Z50. Kind of equivalent field of view. That'd be a tiny little street photography camera on the Z50. That might provoke me to get one of them. I wouldn't mind that little 28 millimeter AIS, what they call it, reissue that they did for the ZFC. I thought about one of them for the Z50 because that works out to what, about 40 mil equivalent, roughly, you know. Aaron said, oh no. Oh no, he's done went to the root. He's root user rm-rf/ oh Lord, I don't even know what that does. I'll have to run that code. I'm gonna copy that right now so I don't forget it. I'll just run that through and see if it'll tell me what that means. Copy. Let's just stick that in Google. All right. I'll see what that is in a minute. Streamline the Linux kernel. Oh, yeah. Aaron uses Linux somewhat. But that's what servers use. Don't run it, says the hat. Oh, okay, I won't. I Googled it. The M42 mount Tacomer 55 f1.8 is a gorgeous little lens and much cheaper than the f1.4. It is, but the f1.4 ain't that expensive. Well, I don't know. I can't say that. I got a f1.4 50 mil with some dead cameras that was a gift. You know, kind of they give you a bunch of camera gear, but it had been dropped and the front of the lens is broken, unfortunately. But the 28-35 was in there, and I think I got another one that was a good lens. I'll have to look again. I think I got a long one. I think I got a 200 millimeter. I'll drag it out and look. But No. I am not opening a terminal on the Mac side and absolutely not running this now. Aaron says, so Dave forgets the Mac terminal has the same bash shell as Linux. No, I didn't, because I knew it's Unix based. I've messed around and noticed that most of the same terminal commands work on the Mac terminal. To be clear, do not run that on a Linux. Okay. I'm going to find out what it means because it's in Google. I'll see what it says. That's going to be interesting. You've got me curious now. Silver Fang 612 says, hey, I'm that guy. I'm actively using it. Thanks again, David. Oh, sweet. Oh, Grant asked, thoughts on the new Canon R3? I think it's going to be literally epic. I've never been a Canon shooter. I just never have. And I entertained the idea right when I started my YouTube channel. Peter McKinnon was doing that runaway success thing he did when he started out with like nobody and went to 1 million subscribers in like 7-8 months or something. And so I should be at like 100K by now, right? Y'all tell your friends to subscribe. Let's get me up to 100K like by tomorrow. It seemed to work for him. What's up, everybody? This is David Sailors, and like and subscribe and smash around on that button down there so that I can get to 100K. Did it work? I got 6 thumbs. I guess it did. Work for him. Oh, look, let me show this. That says if the stream goes quiet suddenly, we'll know why. Don't run it. Oh, so very cruel. But there. All right, I gotta copy that one, put it in a search box. Okay, that'll be. I'll look that one up next. Get one, Mr. Sailors. An R6 would be cool in your bag. Good Lord. With the other 7 cameras, I got to sell 2 or 3 of them if I buy another one. Seriously, man, it's out of control in camera land. I counted them the other day. 7 operational cameras. 7? Yeah, I had to draw the line. I was interested in that ZFC, and then I took inventory, and I was like, I got 4 working Nikon cameras. I don't need another one. I just got enough. I'm gonna take pictures with them is what I'm gonna do. But yeah, I could round out the ethos. I have the Fuji, I have a couple Leicas, and I have 4 Nikons. So I could get a Canon. What else would I need? I need a Sony again, don't I? I had a Sony once. Does that count? But yeah, that R3 is going to be a monster. Well, it went out on me again. I ain't chasing it around no more. It can just sit there. But Bill Page says you use algebra to determine the number of cameras you need. Number of cameras a person needs equals N plus 1. N equals number of current cameras. Thought I saw a hornet's nest, but it ain't. It's a piece of trim. Awesome. I'm glad Silverfang's using it. Get one, Mr. Sailors. I'll get one if the Ray Soldano gets one. When he orders one, I'll order one. How about that? That's the way I'll do this. That way I won't have to ever buy one. But yeah, that R3 is going to be an amazing machine. I can't wait to see. Fuji is launching a bunch of stuff, and they're not what you smoking. This is let me get the label and I'll tell you. Because I don't know what brand this one is. I got it on a hunch. I just saw it in the cigar bin. It's called the Tabernacle. That's what it says on the little band. And there says something under, but I can't read it. Havana Seed, Connecticut wrapper. But yeah, there was I went and got a box of my favorite cigars the other day at Burns Tobacco, and as I was walking through, I just grabbed 2 or 3 that I had never seen before and thought I'd try them. That's pretty good. But yeah, they have all different ones like that. They're all like, they're not church themed, they're Crusader themed, if that makes sense. Maybe it's Crusader brand, I don't know. But I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss any comments. But yeah, let's see. Fuji dropped a bunch of new lenses, I think. I really don't know. I sold that 56 millimeter f1.4, f1.2, whatever it was I had, because I never used it. I bought that lens and thought I'd shoot straight with it, and then never used it. I had a project in mind that I was going to use it with, and then the coronavirus happened, and the project kind of got tabled indefinitely until that whole deal is gone. Man, it's getting awfully dark. I think I will retire to the inside. But yeah, now kind of rebalancing that. And once this whole coronavirus thing is behind us, I will probably resume that project, turn it back on. I wrote it down in my notebook so I wouldn't forget my ideas and all the technicals about it. Mike Mitchum says, the Fuji CEO said last week that photography would not be their primary focus anymore. Have they not seen who buys the X100V? I mean, yeah, Grant says, wow, that's surprising. Yeah, it's super surprising. I mean, street photography is what they dominate. Them and Leica own the street photography market. Phil says, judging by their focus system, that's not a bad idea. LOL. My XT3 focus is good. I mean, that's probably a bad idea if they're going to be video centric because their video focus isn't all that wonderful. They're looking at medical stuff. Oh, that's right. Fuji has a huge medical division. That's right. Is it April Fool's Day? It's cheap enough. Phil that shit, sorry. Oh. All right. I ain't going anywhere. I'm going to grab my power source. This is how you don't go dead during the stream. We're going to grab the streaming gear. Let's see. If I get right here, I got light. Turn off the fan as I can go in where the AC is now. And we're going to walk through the valley of the shadow of death and pass through. Hey, like them lights on the ceiling. Isn't that cool? Cut on this light. And if I sit here, I should have some reasonably good light. Let's see. Not so much. Let me add some more. No, this one over here. Let's see. I'll power this one on. Oh, yeah. We'll just move to right here, and suddenly there's light. Now, all right, get the hat rack hidden behind me so y'all can't see the hat rack. You didn't see that, did you? The world of live streaming on a notebook computer. There, and we're back in business. Hey, look, you can still see outside. All right, let's see here. There we go. There's a little bit more light here. Do not run it. It's a Unix joke. Okay, I won't. I got it. I dropped it into Google to see what it would tell me. So that's why. That's what I've done. I copied it and put it in Google to search it instead. Those lights are awesome. Thank you, Grant. Carmen Taverna, let there be light. Now I'm going to add some cold air. It's hot in here. There. Now there'll be some colder air. There we go. And we're back. Let's see. I think they're looking at medical products. Yeah, that's probably what's going on. Because I know they got a strong medical division. But I don't know much about anybody else's stuff. I noticed street photography is starting to pick up on YouTube videos. Roman Fox is getting out more, and so is Ulysses Aoki and Samuel Street Life. They're all starting to shoot more street videos. Much better now. The glitching has stopped. Good to know. Didn't know it was glitching. I'm the only one on the internet right now, so it should work pretty well. It's a Unix joke. I won't. I don't know what that was. But I'll explain it to you later. Okay, thanks. Oh. Yeah, you got me curious. I'll decode it and see what it means. It wasn't glitching much, but the better light has helped a great deal. Okay, thank you. But yeah, the whole camera industry is starting to pick back up, even with the chip shortage. You know, it affects even that they talked about that somewhat in some press releases, in that cameras are hard to get now because of the semiconductor shortages, like automobiles, and computer parts. Everything is suffering delivery, backlogs because they can't get semiconductors for them. And someone said it takes something like $5 billion and 2 years to build one of those semiconductor manufacturing facilities. It's incredibly expensive to build. And by the time you get it built, it's out of date. So you're constantly upgrading it to keep it doing the latest and greatest stuff. Grant says, would you ever get the 100 megapixel Fuji? Not me, but I know some people that are really looking at that camera and really thinking about getting one. Especially they're probably about to come out with the Gen 2 of that GFX 100. And if they do, the Gen 1 will probably get significantly cheaper. They just came out with a new 50, what was it, 50S or 50R? I think it was the 50S. I think it's their compact one. They came out with a Gen 2 of it. It looked really nice. Jamshed Abik, did I say that right? From Tajikistan. Dude, that's epic. I know roughly where that's at, only because I'm a ham radio operator and I was always trying to listen to that part of Central Asia. Dude, I've got the whole world in here today. This has been awesome. Man, remind me. Okay, I will. Well, Aaron, did you get any good photos yet? You've been lingering on the stream, so I'm wondering if you actually have been getting any decent photographs. Oh, I thought he was saying remind me. I thought he was sending texting shorthand. The manual, I know what man is. That's the manual. I don't know what RM is, what program that is, but I know what man is. You use that for the manual on something. I live in a village with my family. Interesting. Dude, thank you for logging in. That's awesome. It has saved your butt time various Unix machines more times than I can count. Yeah, the help command and the man, which is the manual in Linux. Almost all applications have a manual built into the software, and you run it in the terminal, and it tells you a lot about what's going on. Waiting for the next line of storms to hit. I added the storms. I'm assuming that's what he's meaning. Interesting. Got another question for Aaron. Have you decided if you're going to travel much on your motorcycle with photography, or are you just going to like still use the Subaru for your road trips? I'm trying to say your name right, and I don't want to butcher it. It looks like it's Jamshed, if I'm saying it right. I apologize if I'm butchering your name. He says, thank God we got a Wi-Fi router in the village. Man, you ain't kidding. You have internet in a remote location in Tajikistan. That's awesome. Remove is AKA delete. Oh, yeah. CP is copy. RM is remove. And what was the other one? MV is move, isn't it? I think I learned them the other night. I have a book on that I'm reading on how to do it, and it's kind of a follow along. It's like a textbook. I've been working my way through it. You can recommend some beautiful places there in your country. Awesome. Yeah, I'm not going to delete the manual. And that would, I guess, wouldn't it? Well, it would for which one? All of them? Or the one only the ones in the current directory? Thinking that's what that was. Just got GoPro mounts for the bike tonight. Awesome. I still need to get another battery for my Osmo Action. I only have the one. Bought mine secondhand on eBay, so I didn't get multiple batteries. I just got one with it. And so whenever I do something with it, I either have to, well, it'll run a couple of hours before it goes dead. So I can normally use it for whatever I'm doing and get through the activity without it dying. But like when I done that time lapse here a while back, it went dead before I finished. Yeah, that's awesome. Phil asks, how much do you think the Z9 MSRP will be? What do I think it's going to be the suggested manufacturer retail price? He's thinking $69.95. I'm going to be a little more conservative. I don't think it'll be that high. I think it'll be in the fives, like 55, 5,600. And the reason I base that logic on this, the D6 DSLR was a much more complex mechanically manufactured camera. It had a separate sensor mounted off to the side that done focus. Your autofocus sensor was not the plane sensor in the camera. They've moved that to the same sensor, so they've eliminated that whole subcircuit of autofocus mechanism completely. They don't even have that anymore. They've eliminated the reflex mirror. They've eliminated the pentaprism. They've eliminated all the mechanism associated with that. The motor to drive the mirror and the shutter. You know, they have to move that mirror up and down, the flappy mirror. They have to move that mirror up and down at 20 times a second for 20 frames, and all of that mechanism comes out. The AF focus motor, which would be in the D6, is not in the Z9. It won't have that focus motor if I had to guess. It'll greatly surprise me if it does. Since it's a Z mount, I'm pretty sure they're not going to have that. So eliminating all of that manufacturing cost should lower the camera's price dramatically. It won't have a hot shoe. If I had to guess, well, it'll have a hot shoe. It won't have a pop-up flash, my bad. You won't have the flash mechanism in there to deal with, so you can eliminate that from the cost. It's just I'm oversimplifying this, but it's honestly some circuit boards and some software. They really have taken all of the hard to manufacture stuff that has to be aligned and dialed in and trued and and their expensive time consuming alignment procedures and stuff, and removed it. It's just not there. So yeah, I don't think it'll be that high. I think I'm gonna guess 5,500, and that's because the pro body and they're targeting the pro market, and it's kind of the whole. It's not a barrier. It's the cost of playing in that sandbox. But yeah, the Canon R3 is $59.99. Announced it today. Yeah, they'll come in a little under that. If I had to guess, I'm gonna guess 5,500, 5,600. Yeah, somewhere in that neighborhood. That would be my guess. Phil says that'll make Ray happy if you're correct. Ray wants one, don't he? Jamshed says, like, for example, the Iskandar Lake. It's very beautiful, and the water is blue and green, and it's the best place for camping, hiking, and swimming. Wow, I'll have to Google that. You've got me interested, dude. It's interesting. This is a beautiful place. Silver Fang asks, with the action cam, in what resolution do you record? I record in 1080p. I record everything in 1080p. My computers are fairly old, and driving 4K footage through these older computers is hard. I did one video where I tried to edit 4K footage and gave up. The render time was so long just when you drop a clip in the timeline for it to acknowledge the clip was there so that I could scrub through it and do cut and stuff. It just took forever. My computer just can't handle it. Until I upgrade my machine to a newer, more powerful machine, there's no real point in me trying 4K. But yeah, I do everything in 1080p. I'm not even sure what this camera is recording this stream in. Yeah, I think it's 1080, but I don't know for sure. It might be a 720p stream. Maybe you guys can check and tell me. I honestly don't know. Woody's here. Hello, everybody. Just joining in. Thank you, Woody, for dropping by. And that's a wrap. Jamshed, thank you for stopping by the stream. I appreciate you joining in for a few minutes. Jamshed, I'm guessing. Phil says, the M1 Mac Mini is amazing and cheap for 4K video. That said, the 1080 looks absolutely fine. This stream is 720p. Thank you. That makes me know a lot better. Because I honestly had no idea. Because when you do the live streaming software just straight through the YouTube browser, which is what I did, it doesn't really tell you. Maybe it did and I didn't notice it. There's some auto settings that I don't mess with most of the time. Aaron says, I keep saying, let me build you a new rig. As long as you don't build it with Linux, because I can't put some of my editing software on Linux yet. And I don't want to do one of those emulators. That's just messed up. But that, you got me hooked on that exposure software. And I really like it for editing. I've really come to like exposure when I do edit my photos. Notice I said when I do edit. Here lately, I've been editing more. I don't know. I've been finding photos I really like, and I'll pull them over into exposure and do like serious attempts at editing. But yeah, I know. I got these ancient computers now. I think that one that Windows PC is it's about 5 years old. And this Mac's 6 years old now. They still work. I've had to change the battery in this one. Y'all saw that video, I think. Phil said he had to mess around with OBS to get it to run 1080, but 720 is fine for streaming in his opinion. Plus the internet. Yeah, the internet here, that's probably why it picked 720p, because my latency is pretty terrible here. Earl Lavoy. Sorry, David, but I have to go. Having a late supper. Looking forward to your next live stream. Have a good night. Thank you for stopping by. The X7 is coming out real soon. I don't even know what an X7 is. That's pretty sad. I should know what that is. Is that the new Intel architecture? Or is that an AMD chip? Because I don't know. I'm curious. Phil says 720 smooth is way better than 1080 glitchy. Yeah, I agree with that. And if you're watching this on a phone or on a small computer like mine, then you can't really tell. Your display might be 1080p, but most of them, most of these high res, even laptop screens aren't that high of a resolution. You get to the televisions with 4K and you're watching YouTube on it, then yeah, you might can tell it's a little soft. But Three Souls Paranormal. Three Souls Paranormal. Hey everybody, new here. Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate you joining the stream. It's been interesting so far. We got quite a few people in here tonight. The hat says, well, edits are done. Just need to wait for the project to export now. Well, I've got a bit of code you can run in the bash shell or in the terminal that'll probably speed that way up. Not sure what it does, but Woody says, just finished editing my granddaughter's volleyball game from today. Just cropped and sharpened. Got the exposure right in camera. Nice. I like that kind of editing. Oh, you're talking about the exposure software. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I saw that. The other day I was doing something and I went to the site and seen it's coming. Yeah, I've already talked to them. I emailed with them about doing the upgrade. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be awesome. It will definitely free up some disk space. Oh, remove dash RF. Oh no, now I'm getting it. And you're doing it as a root user. I see that too. So it will absolutely execute if you do that. It would definitely free up some disk space. Okay. That's funny that I have decoded that now just from watching the stream. Yeah. Now I forgot about the whole exposure launch coming. I looked at it probably 2-3 weeks ago. So they normally send me an email since I bought the version 6. I bought 5 while me and Aaron were at the Fellowship of the Aperture Ring. Then I bought 6 shortly thereafter when it came out, done that upgrade. And I like the upgrade. The newer one is it works a lot better. They sped up the whole with X5 exposure. Opening files on my computer was really slow, kind of sluggish, and they sped it way up with X6. It's almost immediate. So it did have a super improvement. But man, the masking with exposure is so easy. Once you showed me that whole masking thing, dude, that changed the game for me. R recursive, F force. Ooh. I'm just now learning what recursive commands are. That was coming up soon because I watched a video today or listened to one where they talked about the recursive command and how it eliminated loops, or that loops don't work right, and eventually you need a recursive command. That was today's audio lesson. I have yet to play with it. The hat says the exposure looks really good. I tried out Luminar as a Lightroom alternative a few years ago, and it was a total mess. Yeah, Luminar's cool. Like if you've got a bland, plain old blue sky, or you've got a good exposure and your sky's blown out, the sky replacement Luminar is kind of handy. You can just drop in a fresh sky real easy there, which, you can probably do it in Photoshop too if you're an Adobe user, but that sky replacement Luminar is pretty cool. You can add some interest in the sky, but the exposure I like it a lot. It's more of a Lightroom alternative. The hat says exposure looks like a genuinely viable Photoshop alternative, but it's more like Lightroom. Um, you can do a lot of the stuff that you can do in Lightroom. Lightroom is still technically more powerful, I believe. I'm pretty sure Aaron would be able to give you a good answer on that. Because Aaron's very fluent in pretty much all of the editing software. He has pretty much all of them downloaded, and he evaluates them pretty thoroughly. Um, he's good at what he does. He's very good at it. I always learn something new when we go on our adventures. Every time. He really needs to take workshops. I would go to Aaron's workshop. Aaron, when are you going to start your workshops? But yeah, that masking function in exposure makes like doing adjustments on certain spots, adjusting certain colors, super easy. You can do all sorts of interesting stuff with the masking function. Aaron says, I don't think highly of Skyloom. There's that one piece of software that Skyloom has that you like. It's not Luminar. It's a different one because you got it as a plug-in for one of the Adobe products. You showed it to me. I don't remember what it was now, but you can drop it in the comments. But they had that one little piece of software that you did like. Woody Mallory, nah, you're fine, Woody. Says, what is this exposure editor? It's a photo editing software. You don't pay a subscription. You buy it once and then it's yours. You know, you download it, pay for it, and you don't have to continue to pay for it. Aaron says, Affinity Photo is a good or great alternative to Photoshop. Ah, okay. The hat says, Skyloom has a terrible attitude and have constantly dodged questions and outright failed to deliver on their promises too many times. I didn't like using it because it was buggy. It would crash on me regularly. And I think I was actually using Luminar last fall when we did the Fellowship of the Aperture Ring. And that's when Aaron turned me on to exposure. And I downloaded it there on the local Wi-Fi on this computer and started playing with it. And man, I love it. It's the program I was always looking for. And yeah, I'm perfectly happy with it. Grant's got a good question. He says, what does everyone in here like shooting the most with your camera? What is the favorite subject matter of the group here currently? Let's see, y'all drop it in the comment. I like to shoot street photography and some nature stuff. Like what? I like wildlife photos. I enjoy doing that. I'm not super big into birds in flight because I suck at focusing on birds in motion. I can't find them in the camera fast enough. That's my problem. I don't know. There's tricks to it, and bass anglers tried to tell me, and Phil's tried to tell me how he does it. I just struggle. To come up with the ability to track birds in flight reasonably, especially with a 500 millimeter lens. But yeah, I love street photography, and I love low light or motion blur. Those are really favorites of mine. Night photos are really, really fun to me. Next week's video will show that. I really love to photograph good light displays at night. That's something I've always enjoyed, especially long exposure. So you get motion, from things moving, and you can stop down the camera and get light stars on all the fixed points of light. I just really enjoy that a lot. Let's see what we got here. Some stuff's populating. C2C Disciple says, a client that pays. Woo! Harsh. I don't know what the deal is. I'm gonna expound on that. I'm gonna come back to that in a minute because that's a good thing. That's a stripped down Luminar plug-in, basically Luminar 3 in a stripped down form. Oh, okay. That's what Affinity Photo is. All right. Stuff and things. That's Aaron's answer. Grant says the same thing, Aaron. Bill says birds, street, sports, live music, and landscape. I think that's literally everything. You seem to enjoy shooting like flowers in bloom too. C2C Disciple says macro and want to get into wildlife. You can do wildlife fairly inexpensively. It's, I mean, with a long lens, you can, this is probably one of those moments where I'm going to divert from my usual modus operandi and say that autofocus lenses are nice to have in wildlife. Manually focusing the camera is difficult on a moving bird or a alligator or deer or whatever. But man, having that good quick autofocus system is really, really handy in wildlife. I've done, like when I done that video on that adapter that adapts Nikon lenses to Leica cameras, it worked technically, but it didn't work well. And I found myself manually tweaking the focus a lot to get it right on, to the point that I just use the autofocus mechanism to get it close. But like when I shoot the Z50 and the 500 millimeter, it's typically just, it's on. That's my wildlife rig. That little tiny camera and that great big long lens on F to Z, and I'm happy. That's my preferred wildlife rig. But you can get the 200 to 500 Nikkor, buy it secondhand, probably less than $1,000 now. You get a Z50 with an F to Z for what, 900, $1,000. Probably get them way less than that used. You could get into wildlife reasonably well in Nikon ethos for probably about $1,500 secondhand. I'm just throwing numbers together, just speculating, but I would guess that since brand new, the 200 to 500 Nikkor is only what, $1,500 new. So you can probably get it for way under $1,000. C2C says, so my 300 millimeter f2.8 manual with a teleconverter will probably suck. No, it won't suck. It'll take stunning photos. What it'll be is frustrating. I've tried long lenses and manual focus outright. I've tried it, and my hit rate is 1 in 100. Seriously, you take lots of fuzzy out of focus photos of wildlife with a manual focus. You had to do it a lot back in the day when people shot film and shot manual focus 400 millimeter f2.8s and stuff. They had to practice a lot so that they could implicitly drive that camera well. There's no way they couldn't do it without a lot of blurry photos. It just seems like it'd be impossible. I tried it. Aaron says, this year has been heavy film focused. Yeah. And with great results. It's like going down memory lane on Facebook here lately. Woody Mallory says, I bought Steve Perry's Birds in Flight ebook. He taught me to keep both eyes open to follow a flying bird. It works. Huh. I never thought if I closed an eye or not. I guess I do. It never occurred to me that I would, but I guess I do, because when I'm looking through the viewfinder, I don't see anything else. I probably do. Phil says, oh, knew that, forgot something. Pro focus is great in sports as well as live music and anything that won't sit still. Oh, autofocus is what he meant. Is great in sports and as well as live music and anything that won't sit still. Woody says birds, landscape, lighthouses, and school sports. Now I got to admit, I'm not super heavy into sports photography. I can see you would take a lot of photos and then cull them down to maybe 3 is how it would wind up. You're looking for those precipice moments in the action, and you're taking tons of frames trying to grab that moment. And man, you know, and get it at the right time. There'd be a lot of that. I can see you would take seriously thousands of frames in a sporting event and then weed it down to probably 3 keepers. You know, you take lots of stuff that happened the moment after or too early. You know, you just fire through the moment and hope that you got it the way you wanted it. I could see that happening a lot for me. Let's see. Grant says, bet your 300 will be great. Aaron says, you could do a lot with a 70 to 300 millimeter. Yeah, and you put it on, if you stuck that on the Z50, you know, your field of view is 450 millimeter equivalent. That's long. I mean, you're close enough to be able to, you can do decent bird photography with that, and it would look good. C2C says, yeah, I was going to dust off the D7000 and the 70 to 200 2.8. Yeah. I mean, if you got a teleconverter, a 1.4 teleconverter on that would make it 280 millimeter. You know, you're almost 300 millimeters then, and that'd be 280 f4. You still have good light. My 500's an f5.6. So, yeah, you're still a stop a lot faster than me. You know, and it's all about shutter speed with wildlife. I mean, it really is. Millimeters and shutter speed is what I've come to believe. You know, if your shutter speed's too slow, you'll typically have blurry animals, and but they don't normally sit still very long. I tell you where you can be really successful with the 7200 though, in the city, taking photos of city wildlife, because they're so used to human contact, you can get fairly close to them. So you can practice on them really easy. You got a 500 millimeter f4 autofocus also, but it's slow. But as long as it autofocuses, that's the key. You can manual focus. You can do it. I ain't gonna say you sit here and say you can't, because I've done it, and it's just frustrating for me. I mean, some people that may be their jam, is working manual focus. You know, the interaction with the equipment may be what soothes their mind, and just the equipment interaction. But for me, getting it to autofocus quickly worked really well. Now, a lot of animals don't move very fast. Herd animals typically move slower unless you spook them. Like when we're photographing elk, they're very easy to photograph because they don't. We're back to that. It's this guy here. I let it run down the other day for the first time in probably 5 years. Come in the living room and it was just sitting there. And I forgot to wind it. It ran like 35 days. I thought it had a 40-day spring, but apparently it's a 35-day spring. Grant says, if you ever want to get rid of that 300, let me know. Bald eagles are coming back in now to get the nest ready. This is Woody, by the way. Says, I've been checking locations to get ready. I have so many nests near me that I hope I will have a good year. Woo! I know there's a bunch of osprey nests around here. We saw bald eagles when we went out west. I actually got a couple of photos of them sitting in trees. And I saw one down in Florida the last time I was down there. I got a photo of one of them in Florida. Wasn't great, but I got a photo. But okay. Looking at something on my phone right quick. But Grant says, I'm sure you're going to have an awesome year. Oh, yeah. You know, the bald eagle population has been coming back. So maybe you should have a good time. don't know what's going on with me. I think it's because of my posture. If I do this, maybe it'll help. Let's see. What have I been working on here lately? I've been working on those lens reviews, and I've got a project in the can that I was going to add to this last weekend, but COVID shut it down, so I didn't get any footage or photos last weekend for that project. It's been tabled temporarily again, you know. But I could probably start on it with what I have. I really haven't started even the edit on it. I've been building YouTube videos and getting them uploaded. The hat says, it's amazing. I'm amazing at getting photos of places where the bird had just been half a second before, but can't get the birds themselves. I think I'm doing it wrong. You got to press the shutter sooner. That's the magic. Press that button a little bit sooner. For me in Costa Rica, I was having that problem to start with, and what I found was back button focus was my magic. Continuous autofocus and back button focus and single point autofocus. I just did away with the multi-point and the tracking and all that, and just put the center focus point. And then I would literally just come up on the animal, start focusing, and then just start bursting photos. And that was how I was getting my pictures. I got what I feel like was some great photos. Some of them, you know, were kind of meh, but I was really happy with what turned out from that. That's I haven't built my book. I normally build a photo book of our trips, and I haven't built that one yet this year. I need to do that. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, I think you're doing it wrong. Unless you just like taking photos of tree branches. It's almost dark enough. I let the chickens out today. They like to walk in around. I free range them on the days I'm going to be here at dark, because once they get done walking around, they'll go back in the coop to roost, and I can just go down and shut the door. I don't have to chase them around or anything. And then I can just latch them up. That way I can lock them up for the night, and the critters in the wild don't come and eat them while they sleep. But yeah, I'll wait till it's dark, and then they'll go roost in the coop. I don't have to worry about chasing them. Woody says, I have been to 2 eagle. Excuse me. I'm trying to yawn here for some reason. I have been to 2 eagle re-releases last month in Virginia. Another one is coming soon. Yeah, you got some epic photos of that. Hassan says that is talking to the hat. He says, sure you're not Wile E. Coyote in disguise. Oh, there's Wolf Tick. How you doing? Thanks for stopping by. That's exactly how I shoot. That's what he says. I love the intros to your videos because it shows this and that and this and that, and you with your dad, and then you riding a bike and crashing. That's epic. Oh, yeah. I love Wolf Tick's channel. If y'all haven't seen him, if you're into bicycling at all, go over to his channel and give him a subscribe, because he's got an epic, him and his dad do, unless it's the dad, I'm not sure. One's Wolf and one's Tick, and together they're Wolf Tick. But they have a father and son YouTube channel, and they do bicycles, mountain bikes particularly, and it's a really cool channel. Honestly, I can't rule it out. I ran into a tunnel painted on the side of a cliff last week, and I'm having memory issues. Oh, hey, y'all, thanks. This is the dad. Oh, okay. Thank you. Because I didn't know which one of you it was. Yeah, you're about my age. I just cut off my hair instead. But yeah, y'all have an awesome channel. So it's the son that crashed the bike in the intro then, I'm assuming. Might be you. Yeah. This has been a really good video or stream tonight. If y'all haven't hit the thumbs up yet, do that for me. I'd like to see like 20 of them tonight if I can have them. I'm up to 13. Let's see if we can see 20 thumbs. And no, if we go to 50, I'm not buying another Z50. I already have one because of that one night. But if we get to 28, I might get that 28 millimeter. That'd be a pretty cool little lens. And I might be persuaded to put that on the Z50. It's not an f2 lens, is it? Does it one of y'all know? Is Phil still here? I'm interested in that lens. That 40 millimeter f2 is pretty cool. I'm kind of liking that idea. I don't know if it compresses down to fit, a more compact footprint like the other zoom out lenses, since it's a prime. I haven't looked real close. The tick likes to test gravity every once in a while. Oh, yeah, it's a law that is strictly enforced. I used to have a T-shirt that said that on it. Gravity is a law that is strictly enforced. I haven't seen those T-shirts in decades. That was in the 90s when I had that shirt. This is a pizza joint. I think this one was in Phoenix, Arizona. Yeah, it says something in Italian, but it was I'm pretty sure I got this one in. And I like restaurant T-shirts for some reason. This is what I'd wear now when I'm off, when I'm not working. Hassan says, actually, I have the 28 pre-ordered, but not sure whether to cancel and go with the 40. Well, your field of view, that's what you're looking for. If you like wider angle, get the 28. The magic for me is it's the equivalent field of view of the 28 would be 14 on top of that would be 42 equivalent, and the 40 would be basically like a 60 field of view for compositional purposes, because I shoot 50 millimeter right now on full frame, and that's on either side of it. And I normally lean a little telephoto with my shooting. I don't normally shoot super wide. Occasionally I like to, and like if I shoot lights at night and stuff, I like wider angle for that because it gives you that cool perspective. But for like street photography, I like a little bit telephoto. 50 mil, 60 would be good for me. I like the 60 millimeter f2.8 Nikkor AFD lens. I've got one of those. It's a micro Nikkor, but it works good for general photography too. It's got a long focus throw because it's a macro lens, but I would lean towards the 40 if it were me, because of the fact that it's a little bit telephoto. But that's just the way I like to shoot. I don't like to get right on people to photograph them, like the whole Bruce Gildan thing. I'm not that guy. I like a little bit of space. So, for me, 50 millimeter works great. And the 40 on the Z50 would be a little longer and would probably be okay. The 28 would be a little wider and would probably be okay, but it would boil down to the maximum f-stop at that point for me then, because then when you start getting into lower light, you can open the aperture up to get more light in. I'm not really, when I shoot street, I'm not after depth of field. I'll normally stop down in the broad daylight to at least f8 or f11 if it's bright sun, just so that I can keep my shutter speed up, and or keep my ISO down because I'll normally try to run 1/250th to 1/500th of a second normally, and that'll keep my ISO in the lower below 500. And I don't worry if it floats in between 120 and 500. You're going to have good exposures, but that way I don't overexpose. But for me, I don't know. The 28 would be in 42. I don't know. It's kind of got me thinking. I'll have to look at them after we get off the stream here and see. Because they'll be reasonably priced because they're tiny little lenses. And I think they're both DX lenses, which will make them even more economical, if I'm right. C2C says he's got the manual 28 millimeter and the Tamron 40. Keep the 40 on the camera, but like David says, I like to shoot a little more telephoto. See there? Yeah. Thing is, David, I already have the 51.8, so I'm a little stuck. I would vote get the 40 then. Go a little wider. Because you already got the 50. So yeah, I'd vote you go 40. I don't know if I'd go all the way to 28. That's a pretty strong jump. I don't know. Maybe it makes sense to go 28 now that I think about it, because 40 is so close to 50 already that at least that would give you two completely different perspectives. Because normally what I carry in my bag when I go, I'll carry the 28 Tacomer, the 50 Summicron, which is a 50 f2, and normally 135 millimeter or a 200 millimeter, somewhere in that range. So I'll have a long telephoto, then I'll have the 50 for general shooting, and I'll have the 28 or a 24 nickel, where I got the 24 millimeter f2.8 nickel, or one of them two for like landscape or, you know, light trails or whatever. That's my kit that I travel with. I'll even, when I go out west and stuff, I'll carry 3 lenses, maybe a second 50 millimeter for a backup in case I drop and break one. Ever since something happened in Costa Rica with my 50 millimeter, I carry a spare now. It might not be the same brand, but it'll at least be another one, the same focal length, so I can have the same field of view. Learned my lesson on that one. Hassan says, interesting corundum. Yeah. But as it will be for walking around, yeah, the 40 millimeter sounds perfect. The Nikon 51.8S is not exactly small. No, that's a big lens. Aaron got the 51.8S lens, and I had the 85 and I sold it. I thought I would use the 85 because, you know, I shot 50 millimeter on a crop for a long time, and it works out to about 75 on the crop center camera ish. You know, you get the idea. Field of view, eh? And I thought I would want that Z6 with that 85, but I just never used it because it was so big. I just didn't. And it was a great lens, produced beautiful images. I just never used it. It sat on the shelf. So I sold it. Wolftick says he thinks they're both FX lenses. Well, that'd be nice. If it's an FX lens, it'll work on the Z6 too, then. My Z6 as well. Maybe get that phrasing correct. But yeah. We're up to 16 thumbs up. Is anybody in here hasn't clicked the thumbs up yet? I'd appreciate it. And that subscribe button's right beside it. I think it's like down here if I'm right. We're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers tonight, remember? I'd be happy with 4,000. Technically, I'm happy with whatever it is. I backed off on the release schedule. I'll go ahead and catch you up on that. Wait a minute. I had something else I was going to talk about. What was it? Let me scroll up here. There was a point. What was it? I done lost it now. I done talked about stuff so much. It was before that conversation. No, it was after the how much is the Z9. I don't remember what it was. I had to hold that thought moment, and then I forgot it. We done derailed down so many side paths. Hassan says, yeah, the 28 and the 40 are FX. I will use them on the Nikon releases, the full frame ZF, in about a year or two. I don't know if they'll make the ZF in full frame. I don't know if they'll do it. Fuji doesn't make a retro full frame that I'm aware of. I mean, their XH1 is video centric and it's not retro styled, and their GFX is absolutely not retro styled. Even though you got them, you know, even though they're rangefinder layout, they're still modern cameras. But I don't know. Market, a knock-on full-frame ZF type will come out before 2025. Take that to the bank, huh? Oh. How you get to 28 with only 10 watching? Now it's 9. Oh. I'll send you mine, David, to review on your camera when I get it. Wow, dude, awesome. How about you go shoot with it a lot first and scratch it up and stuff and then send it to me. On your channel. Oh, I think, well, I'll shoot it on my camera on my channel. Dang, now you got me looking at them lenses. Look at what you guys do. Let's see here. I had something else I was going to talk about. What was it? Thinking. Oh, I've got a new videography kit. It fits in a bag about this big. Actually, just hold that thought. Let me grab it. Let me just show you. Here I come. I think I need to market and sell this. This is a YouTuber's videography kit. It has everything you need for high quality video and audio in this bag. That's the whole thing. And there's spare batteries in here. I have learned this works so well. You go to GoPro, and you can get them probably from DJI too, but this is a tripod GoPro on a stick. So you can do the little talking to the camera stuff, and you can actually move it further out and get it further away. You get the idea. But it'll also allow you to set it on tables and things like that, and it gives you some height adjustment when it's sitting on the table. That's kind of a handy thing. Plus, you got the Osmo Action does reasonably good video for like street vlogs and stuff. Plus, I've got this little widget in my pocket because I was doing a street vlog today and I almost mounted it. It's a hot shoe adapter for your GoPro. Okay, so I keep that in my pocket. It normally lives in that bag. I got it out today because I thought I was going to run a POV vlog, but POV vlogs don't seem to do real well anymore. Nobody watches them a lot. They watch them some, but not much. But you got there's your video camera, and it has audio. You can get by with this audio. It's not the greatest audio in the world, but it works okay. And then here's my audio solution. It's a lav mic on a Zoom F1 field recorder. I just stick this down here in my belt. Oh, the batteries are popped loose. It runs on AAA batteries, and I bumped the battery latch door. But this thing has amazing audio. A lot of my vlogs here lately, if you see the little fuzzy on my shirt, it's recorded on this. And then in DaVinci Resolve, you literally bring in this audio track and drop it on the timeline right under the audio track that comes with this video camera, because it's automatically synced with the footage. You highlight on both, right click, and there's a function that says auto sync via waveform. You click that, it lines them up to within 2 frames usually. They're not always perfect, but they're really, really close right out of the chute. And you just got to nudge the audio from this back and forth a couple of frames till you can hear it. It goes from a kind of a reverb to just a dull voice that sounds normal. And you can tell you've lined them up. Then I trim off the ends to where they're all on the same line, and then just drag it up and relink them. It literally happens really fast. And after you do it a couple of times, it's quick to sync that audio up. But yeah, this works so well. Plus, it allows me to where I was I was running, well, I still am. I still use my Z50. It's still in the bedroom set up as a vlogging camera. But the little shotgun mic by Rode that's mounted to it, you got to be within about 3-4 feet of the camera. That's a problem. If I want to set this down and walk into frame toward the camera and talk to the camera while I'm doing it, I can't do it with that one. You can't hear me. So by running the lav mic with the audio recorder on my person, I can be anywhere in frame on here and the audio is perfect. So I'll start the camera, get me a little bit of a sync pulse lined up so that I can line up the footage at the beginning, set the camera up and go out in the frame, do what I'm going to do for the video clip. It's an action camera. It's real durable. And then I can record it and it works. It just works so well. And then like in the bag, you always carry extra little dead cats and then spare batteries for the audio recorder. Like I said, I have spare batteries, you know, and it fits in this one little tiny bag. I have reduced it to this for most of my street photography blogging. It just works and it's easy. I can stick this thing in my pocket. It's so convenient. So yeah, there's a lot of DJI Osmo action video now because this thing works so well. But yeah, this is my new vlogging rig. Thanks to Aaron and Phil, but Aaron mainly. He loaned me his when I went to Costa Rica and I took it down there and used it. Let's see. Oh, there's a bunch happened while I've been blabbing about my vlogging rig. Ricky Talks has the first look at the 40 mil. All right, I'll go look at it and see. Aaron Life, they discounted the GFX 50R. You're getting there. We should start a lens share group and just rotate them around. Dude, you're onto something. We just need a controlled area where we can vet the people in it. I'll think about that. That's a good idea. Hassan said, oh, Wolf Tick comes in. So Wolf Tick says, I just got done watching that video, Hassan. It was just a quick one, but he plans on doing a full review. Oh, okay. I'll give it a look later. Randall Brader. Hello, everyone. Hello, Randall. Thank you for stopping by. If you haven't done it yet, I'd like a thumbs up. I've said that about 62 times now. I'm up to 18. Trying to get to at least 20, but I agreed to buy the 28 millimeter Z lens, the little retro one, if I get 28 likes. Actually, it is a really good idea, Aaron. Just need good vetting and a closed group. What scratch? Oh, see the Alvin says what scratch. Well, my point is, if you use it, it's going to get handling marks, and I would rather the handling marks occur or come to happen by the actual owner instead of me, because I'm kind of rough with my camera gear. If you didn't notice just a minute ago, and I just don't want to be the first person to put a ding in a brand new lens that someone bought. I try to be careful, but it just doesn't seem to work out for some reason. That's the scratch I'm talking about. I like Ricky Talks channel. He does a good channel too. I don't watch a lot of his videos because he gets super techie in them. But I mean, there's a lot of good data if you're shopping. It's worth it. Let's see. But yeah, that's become my latest and greatest vlogging rig for YouTube videos. And I can get a whole video on the memory card without problem. USB-C charges, so if I know I'm going to run the battery down before I get done, like I'm doing a lot of like hyperlapses or something, then like if I go to eat or something, I'll plug it in the truck and charge it while I'm going to eat lunch. Discontinued. Oh, they didn't discount it. They discontinued it. Wow. Interesting. I need to make a note about that idea. That's a good one. I'll send it to myself so I won't forget it. Do y'all ever do that? Send text messages to yourself so you can remember them later? There you are. That's me. There. There. Got it. Man, discontinued it. Well, at least the GFX 100 is still in operation. Woody says, Randall, did you watch Peter's live stream on the ZFC? I didn't see that one. He's talking about Peter Gregg. That's who he's talking about. Peter Gregg does a Friday night live stream, and typically he'll have 6 or 7 cameras wired up to his system, and he'll literally just switch cameras while he's doing the stream and give you different perspectives and different video feeds. It's interesting. Plus, he's a one-man variety show, and it's quite entertaining. He can sing, he can play an instrument. It's entertaining, and it's interactive. You know. But no, I didn't see that one. Was it last week? If it was, I'll go back and watch it. But yeah, the Z9. I mean, they're late to the party with that. That should have come out on it should have hit the market when the Olympics started. They should have done an advertising campaign using like still photos of photographers or video of photographers shooting at the Olympics and done their release during the Olympics. I think they would have got a lot more traction had they done that, because supposedly the pre-production units were at the Olympics. Someone says, "Oh, that grumpy old guy. Not too impressed by him. He goes far too clickbaity for me." Oh. Now, is it on his live stream channel or on his regular channel? Because I've only seen the live stream channel. Randall says, I bought him some super chats. But yeah, that's gonna be an epic camera. I hope the focus is on par with Canon's. Just to be honest, they're dominated autofocus with the D850, and it's still a really strong focus system. I mean, it does super well. But the new Canon focus and the Sony autofocus, if you use autofocus, it's a no-brainer. They're where you need to go. I mean, even with the new Z7 and Z6 II autofocus being as good as it is, just ask Phil. And Phil was a diehard Nikon shooter. The R6 blows it out of the water. And I saw it firsthand. He don't even have to try, and it does it. It's like cheating. It's almost like cheating. It works so well. Phil says the 28mm retro version is only available in kit form with the ZFC. He's pretty sure of it. You can't just buy the lens. Oh, it saved me from, I got 20 thumbs. At least I don't have to buy that lens then. I can't buy the camera. I have 7 cameras. So. So someone says there's an old guy from England that I like, far more objective and uses and tests all brands. I don't know who you're talking about. I like I like some really obscure photography channels. I don't know if you guys have heard of them. Like one of them is called uh, Rambles with My Camera. The guy is he's from Belfast, Ireland. I believe he lives in Belfast, and I did know his name, but he's got a small channel and he's really cool. He's a street photographer. What's your favorite little YouTuber? And you can't say mine or Phil's channel. Say less than 10,000 subscribers that you watch regularly. Because I like Rambles with Your Camera. I kind of like what's that, Dan Milner channel some, but he gets a little bit weird, and I don't know. He's Dan Milner, but I like his philosophy on photography, but I'm not super into Dan anymore. He's just gotten weird. What he is he's being himself, and I don't jive with his ethos or philosophy on a lot of stuff. I mean, I don't like it. Ain't that I hate him or disagree with him politically or whatever. I probably do. I don't know, but he's gotten into this van life deal or van travel vlogging or whatever it is. And he works for Blurb, so he's constantly pimping Blurb, kind of subversively in his videos. But Adrian Alford, yeah, I like his channel. Stew Blue, that's interesting. I ain't never heard of him. Rob Palmer, I think I might have seen one of his videos. Stu is a little loco, but cool. Japan Camera Hunter is an interesting camera channel. Yeah, I think I've seen that that video or that channel. My bad. Used to watch Crowley Crew when we bought the M50 years ago. Interesting. Super heavy accent though, not Peter Gregg. 28 millimeters finally shipping. Let's see here. Having a text with the wife. Give me a second. There. Let's see what we got here. I need to look up the Japan Camera Hunter. I haven't watched his videos lately. It's like they come through in little waves. The Graves of Westminster are cool. I've watched several of their videos like recently. Days of Night, Azrael Knight is awesome. I like Days of Night. Yeah, he does he is a vintage film photography channel, and what I like about his is he shows you the contact sheet. That's what. Oh, oops. I've got an upcoming video where I show the contact sheet from a sequence where I've done some photos. But I got the idea from Azrael Knight because he does at the end of his videos, he goes and shoots a roll of film in the video with some vintage camera, and then he develops it, and then he'll show you the photos he picked, and then he'll show you the whole contact sheet. And that way you can see all the photos and then the ones that he chose from that roll. It's a really cool channel. He'll do a fortnight of film. He'll do 14 days, a fortnight, 14 days, and he'll shoot a different roll of film every day. And he does all sorts of cool stuff. But he lives up in like Alberta. It's cold where he's at. Like it'll get super cold. The Graves of Westminster are cool though. I like their channel too. Think the 28 might be shipping by itself finally. I know that it came kitted only to start with, so So I'm pretty sure you're right that it was a kitted option initially because they were trying to push that vintage retro camera idea. Scott Peterson's here. Good evening, all. How you doing, Scott? Thank you for stopping by. If there's any new people that haven't hit the thumbs up, I'm headed towards 28 because if I can get the 28 millimeter Z-mount lens, if I get 28 thumbs, I'll buy one, and then I'll show it to you on a live stream. I've done said it. 21. Let's see. Vic Barry. I don't know him. I'll have to look his up. Have you heard of Vintage Optics YouTube channel? He reviews old lens. Yes, and it's a cool channel too. That's like the Solanta vlog. He's either a Danish or a Swedish photographer. Solanta, something like that. It looks like Sultan, but it ain't. It's Solanto. But I think he's Swedish or Danish, one of the two. I like his videos too. And then there's who's the guy that done the it's almost like ASMR lens reviews. He'll compare like 3 vintage 50 millimeters and he'll talk through the video and it's like he shows his hands the whole time and he does the tabletop style videos and it's very soothing to listen to him talk. I don't remember the name of that channel now. Crud. I feel bad now. I can't remember that channel. Zenography. That's it. Hassan said it. Zenography. That's the one I'm thinking of. Elliot Rose. His voice is like James Earl Jones. Oh, dude, I got to check that out. One looks retro and one doesn't. I bet the retro is only kitted with the ZFC. That's the one I would like, just because it looks like the old 28. They say the aperture ring is fake, that it's just decoration. Ordered one and paid for it, Randall. I didn't feel like fighting with FedEx. Oh. I know what you're talking about now. Aaron says, shooting film like a boss is a good channel. Is it? Cool. I like, as far as film goes, there's King Japes. I like his vlogs. He's a photographer out in like either San Francisco or LA. He's California based. He does a lot of thrift shopping, and he'll go find cool vintage cameras in thrift shops. He's big into the little Olympus automatics, little point and shoots from way back when. And he's got some really cool vintage cameras. Yeah, Videography is pretty cool. Yeah. I've seen his videos a time or two. Adorama has pre-ordered for the 28 SE Retro for $295. Oh, I'm not going to be able to get one. I only have 21 thumbs, Phil. I can't order it. It's cheap, too. I'm about to start seeing the chat being spammed by Phil. 28 millimeter Z, 28 millimeter Z. Good to see you, Phil. Have fun. Y'all take care. Thank you for sticking around as long as you did. Dude, you went home. I just realized you're not at work anymore. Good night. Dude, we've been vlogging for over 2 hours on this stream. Monochrome Memoirs, but he doesn't put up videos anymore. Yeah, I liked his videos to start with, but he was doing really well. His channel was growing very strongly. He was doing really, really well. And he had good content. Yeah, I don't know. I guess he just wasn't seeing the growth he was wanting, or maybe he got really busy. He was a wedding photographer. Him and his wife, I think they were a team wedding photographer group. And he may just be super busy now that COVID's lifted some, and he just doesn't have time to make videos. But yeah, I liked his videos too. Randall Brander says, I work for the U.S. Post Office and FedEx drops off their packages to us, but I have received 2 damaged packages and 3 messages that they cannot deliver because I live in a closed area. That's kind of funny, actually. My mom worked as a rural carrier for the Postal Service for 30-something years. She drove mail routes in the rural area forever. Monochrome was the bomb. But yeah, he had some disagreements with YouTube politics. What I liked about him was he said it like he believed it. He stood his ground and he just said what he believed and went on about his day, you know. He was a little bit, you know, abrasive at times, but you know, he believed in what he was saying. So I gave him kudos for it. I watched his videos. He put out a video about it. Oh, okay. Hey, should I cheap out and go Z5 or get a Z6 II? The problem is the F to Z won't work with the Tamron A009 70-200, so we'll have to get another one. I'm gonna tell you, Ray got the Z6 II and the new Tamron 70-200, and his literal words is, "It's my cheater camera. It's so easy to shoot with. He feels like it's cheating." Our buddy Ray Soldano loves it. The Z6 II and the 70-200 Tamron Gen 2 or 3 or whatever the newest one is, loves them. Absolutely loves them. I think he had the same problem with his other Tamron lens. He wore it out. He shoots a lot. And I think he literally wore that lens out. So I would say get the Z6 II and the new Tamron. You trust me, the eye autofocus tracking in it is really good. It's not Canon R6 tracking from what I can tell, but it's good. It's super good. Ray has really good success with his gear, and he likes that Z6 II. And he wasn't going to upgrade until he saw something that could compete with his D850. He still shoots his D850. It is so close that the deer walk right into the neighborhood. That's cool. Here's a Danish YouTube channel that I know of. This is the one you were thinking of. It's Frederick Boving. I like Frederick Boving. He spent like a year or 2 years in Mexico. I watched his street vlogs in Mexico a lot. Or I think that's the same guy. Frederick. I think it's him. How bad was your MacBook battery fire? If I hadn't stabbed it with a screwdriver or taking it out, it probably wouldn't have been near as bad. I was fortunate it didn't actually catch fire. It started smoking and it sparked some, but my batteries swelled. I got the 2015 that had the bad batteries in it, and it swelled up real bad. And how you know it, if you don't pay attention, it happens so slowly, is that the mouse quits clicking. That's what gives you that's what clues is. The trackpad click stops, and it gets real sensitive because it puts pressure on it from the bottom when them battery cells swell up, and you just touch it, it starts doing stuff. And I just happened to notice one day I shut the lid and the corners didn't touch. It did in the middle and the corners didn't. And I looked down the side of it and you could see it was bowed from where that battery had swelled up in it. So I carefully took the back off of it and put it outside. It lived outdoors for a week waiting on a battery to come in. I did. I put it outside and just put it under the porch where it wouldn't get wet with rain and dew and stuff. And I didn't bring it back in the house. I was afraid it was going to catch on fire. But then the battery come in. I took it with me to the camper, and I sat down at the table in the camper, and I got away with it on like 3 of the 4 cells in it because they're stuck down with like double-sided sticky tape in there, and I was prying them off. And once I got it moving, I just pried out real slow, and that double-sided tape turned loose. And I got to that one, and I started prying it up, and I punctured this battery, and it was like, crap, I'm inside the camper with it. I've run outside. I got it. It's a video on my channel. You can search my channel for battery. Yeah, you just search it for computer battery or MacBook battery, and probably it'll come up. The song says, wait for the F to Z2. It will have magic unicorn dust autofocus. I guarantee you it won't. That is what I have, plus the Tamron 24 to 70 G2. That's good gear. Scott Peterson says, love my D850 because I can crop everything. Yeah, Danny lady with the squirrels. I'm going to have to see what that's about. D850 is an amazing camera. I never bought one because I had a D810 and I was content with what it could do. And I had the D810 for about 2 years and I got comfortable with that camera. I got to where I could drive it really well. And started my YouTube channel about the time the D850 released. That's when I launched my channel. So if you go back to the early days, like my most viewed video on this channel is a video of me saying this is why you shouldn't get the new D850. And it was because you could get a D810 and a whole suite of lenses for the cost of just the D850 body at the time, you know. And if you was a new photographer getting in, why would you buy just a body that you couldn't even put a lens on when you could have all of this other equipment for the same money? And I even had extra batteries and all sorts of stuff in the picture, you know. And, oh, look, Carmen's trying to cheat. He's added a bunch of thumbs in the chat. That don't count. Danny Connor Wild. Okay. Good thinking. Good try. We're up to 21. We get to 28. I got to buy the lens. They're shipping October 1st. Woo. I'm coming from the MacBook battery video after doing maintenance on my surprisingly mid 2015 as well MacBook battery. Thank you for sharing and expanding on what wasn't on film. Yeah. That's how I could tell. I currently own somewhere on the order of almost 20 MacBook Pros. Yeah, we have a lot of them. Some of them, I got to take that back. 3 or 4 of them are MacBook Airs. But we got into the Mac ethos about 10 years ago because we got tired of Windows computers failing on us regularly and Windows crashing routinely for our office machines. So our machine shop, even the shop computers out on the shop floor are Macs. There's 3 out on the shop floor in building 1. There's 1 in the shop building 2. Then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the office. 8 plus the spare. 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, we're close to 20 MacBook Pros. So I'm constantly checking them for bad batteries. Now, a bunch of them are 13-inch. My personal one here is a 15, and the one I keep in my office is a 15. They're really nice machines, but yeah, they just work. Other than the battery issue, you know, occasionally you have a battery go dead in one, or a battery will swell up in one. Occasionally you have a bad battery. That's all I ever have to do to them. I clean them. I take the bottle cover off and blow the dust out of them with an air hose. I don't even use canned air. I've got 2 air hoses in the shop that are they're dry air. We don't have water coming out of those lines, and I'll use them and blow out the dust about once a year out of them and put the bottom back on them, and that's all I have to do to them. They just work. We rarely have a problem with them. I am Hassan. New lens time. I got 22. Carmen cheated. He broke the rules. I get where you're coming from. Thomas is Thomas Almholt says, I recently bought some older AIS lenses. The 80 to 200 f4 AIS is very good and very sharp, but I was not impressed with the 200 millimeter f4 AIS prime. Do you have the same combo? No, I don't. I have an old pre-AI 200 millimeter f4. I don't have the f4 AIS at all. Not all the AIS lenses are stellar. Most of them are, but some of them are not. They're just not super great. Like the other day, I was shooting photos with an AI lens or an AIS. I think it was AI, and there was some pretty significant purple fringing in direct sun. I mean, it's the lens coatings just weren't that great at the time. But yeah, the 80 to 200 is an awesome lens. I've had a couple of them. Actually, I think I do have some 80 to 200s in there. I think I kept mine. That's one of the lenses I hung on to because they're super inexpensive and they work really well. Randall Brander says he has two MacBook 12 inches, but he uses the M1 MacBook Air and love it. Teresa loves the MacBook Air. She has 3 or 4 of them. She keeps one in her car. She has one at the camper. And she had one in there, and she got a MacBook Pro in her office now. Finally, I got her into one in there because I needed the SD card slot. I use the SD card slots on these computers way more than I probably should. I almost use them like a USB thumb drive. My internet is so terrible that I'm going to show you something here. This is how sad the internet is. Yeah, right there. What you're seeing is the beginning of a YouTube video I'm making, okay? I use my phone while I'm driving down the interstate because I have unlimited data on my cell. I use my phone and upload my videos over AT&T's cellular data network, over the LTE network, because it's so much faster than uploading them here. And I can upload 1080p video from my phone to my YouTube channel while I'm driving down the interstate. If I upload a video from here, it will literally take 3 hours to upload a 10-minute video. I can do it in like 4 minutes driving down the interstate. It's sad. Internet here is terrible. It just is. Gary Arbuckle made it. Got here late. Been editing wedding photos. Good on you. Glad to hear somebody's doing something productive. Got to use nitrogen to blow out electrical. Nah, compressed air works great. You're supposed to use nitrogen in canned air and all that. I've been known to use a clean paintbrush and dust them. Blow out the keyboard and everything. I buy all them machines I use in the shop secondhand. I'll buy them off of typically off of Facebook Marketplace. I used to use Craigslist, but now Facebook Marketplace has took its place. And I'll just meet people. I get them. A lot of them I'm thinking I'm buying them from college students. They'll wipe it and sell it to me as a new machine, unless they're stolen. I don't know. They might be. I don't know. I mean, unless someone's foolish enough to have their password not logged in. I mean, most people aren't tech savvy enough to know how to wipe a hard drive with a password, but so I guess they could if you had a little bit of background knowledge. Just go to McDonald's and use their Wi-Fi. Don't trust it. Buy a frappe mocha when you're there. I've learned that I don't eat anything that McDonald's sells anymore. And it's because it doesn't agree with me. I don't know what it is about McDonald's food, but it makes me sick when I eat it. Something about it's just not right. And I just can't eat it anymore. I don't even go in their restaurant anymore. Me and Sierra used to do a father-daughter breakfast, and we'd go there before she moved out. And every time I'd have heartburn, and it was just, I don't know, but since I've quit eating there, I don't have a lot of the problems I used to have. I just can't eat McDonald's food anymore. I can't eat Pizza Hut pizza either. It gives me heartburn. Something in the sauce, I guess. I don't know for sure. Maybe the bread, maybe something in the dough. I don't know, but I guess as you get to be 50 and older, things start cropping up that you didn't notice when you were younger, or you just ignored it. Oh, Hassan done pulled out the. Sorry, getting a motor rewound and redipped because someone let all the smoke out. Woo! Yeah, I know what that's like. I've changed out a few bad motors and took them to Chattanooga Armature Works and had them rewound because of problems. Several of them actually in the machine shop. Hassan asks, "What is your no holds barred dream camera and lens combination?" As of right now, the only lens that I want that I don't have that I'm saving up for is the 24 to 90 Vario Elmar Leica lens for the SL2. Oh, look at that. It's 9 o'clock. I have the SL2. That was my dream camera. And the Vario Elmar 24 to 90 is the lens I want to go on it. And honestly, the 50 millimeter Summilux would be awesome. Aspherical. That'd be cool. I'd like to have that too. That'd be my street lens. I wouldn't. It doesn't have to be the Summilux M. The M lenses are cool, but they're designed for that rangefinder camera. I really like the R mount lenses. Now, the 50 millimeter L lens would be epic on the SL2. That would be that may be the one I save up for after the 24 to 90. But that 24 to 90 is an amazing lens. I really would like to have it. That would be my no holds barred camera setup. The SL2 like I have, but that 24 to 90. Gary says my eyes are shot. Just go to McDonald's and use their. Okay, we done said that. I tried to clean a keyboard with a vacuum once. 2 hours later, I'd gotten the 3 keys it sucked up out of the bag and back where it came from. Not recommended. Oh. That's a good one, dude. Oh. Speaking of keyboards, I think it was System 76 just came out with a fully configurable keyboard with like the super classic keys, and you can actually move them around, change the keys buttons out, remap the keyboard the way you want it. I watched a video on it the other day. It was pretty awesome. System 76, for the people that don't know it, is a company that makes Linux specific computers. Unlike everybody else who wants to put Windows and Mac OS on their machines. But you can get a few other companies make a few, but System 76 makes them deliberately for Linux. And you can get some really cool techie stuff for the nerd that likes to write code. They make a specific keyboard for it. And their space bar is cool because one that was split in half, and one side spaced forward, one side backspaced. So your backspace was on one side of the space bar. So, if you're used to using both thumbs for space, it would mess you up. But yeah, you could just type and you'd have to reach up to backspace. If you had the backspace, it was just one side and the other. And it was pretty slick. Let's see. Carmen says it could be all the lard and everything. Yeah, hydrogenated cooking oil, I'm pretty sure isn't good for you. And I know they use that. What are you talking about out in the middle of a soybean field shooting lightning? Oh. Woody Mallory, good night, everyone. Let us know if you get to 28. I'm up to 22. If y'all haven't heard yet, if any of the 8 people that's watching now knows, if I got to 28 thumbs, I was going to order the 28 millimeter S or whatever it is, the Z mount 28 millimeter Nikkor lens for my Z6 and Z50. I mean, so I could do street photography with it. See the season says any of Phil's cameras except the Canons. Man, you are harsh on that Canon. That R6 is an epic machine, dude. We linked up that day at the Chattanooga market, and it's like he didn't even have to try. He's like, see that person? They're in focus, laser sharp. You didn't have to worry about it. If you just wanted to work on the scene, the lens nailed it, man. It was just incredible how well it worked, and the images looked beautiful coming out of that camera. Leica. That's the truth. See you, Woody. Randall says, I am downgrading my PCs and staying with Mac. Yeah, I mean, for my work machines, I'm going to continue to use my Macs, but I'm slowly moving towards Linux. I like Linux Mint, and I like Ubuntu. I've messed around with it a little bit, but Linux Mint's a really cool operating system. What you got to learn with Linux is there's a bunch of different operating systems built on the Linux kernel. So you can have 100 different designs. They've got Pop OS and Mint and Ubuntu and Manjaro, and there's just, the list is long. Arch Linux seems to be a huge one for all the big developer people, and then of course you got the commercial ones, and then Linux is used on like all of the real servers apparently, because it's so stable. But I'm just trying to learn something new. That's all I'm doing. Let's see what we got here. I'll let you know on the Facebook Live group, Woody. Bought the Megadapt ETZ11 adapter that will put all Sony E-mount lenses to Nikon Z cameras. Wow. With autofocus. Dude, that's pretty awesome. Early reports on the ETZ11 is finicky. Yeah, all the third-party manufacturer adapters I have tried so far have been ticky. I've tried several. I ordered the Sigma one to autofocus like Nikon lenses on the Leica camera. Didn't work good. I tried that one that's in there now. I kept that one. I don't remember the brand on it now. It's a German made one. Yeah, it works the best of all of them. It's slow. I thought if I ever got 24 to 70 f E lens, I could shoot it. I'll probably sell it once I get that 24 to 90, because then I won't have a need for it at all. Right now, I can put the 500 millimeter on the SL if I want the megapixels, you know. New products often are, really. Yeah, firmware will fix it. I mean, 99% of stuff like that is firmware anyway. Yeah, see, Randall even says you can get an update with their USB hub. Yeah, the Sigma lens has a little dock, or Sigma adapter has a dock. Any E-mount lens on Z-mount could potentially steal a lot of business from Sony. See you later, C2C. Thank you for coming. I think I'm going to wrap it up too here in a minute. I'm seeing 2 hours and 30 minutes on this counter. We have went 2.5 hours on a stream that I had planned on running for about 30 minutes. I thought Teresa was going to be home a lot sooner than she is. Oh, look, I turned on the flashlight. There we go. Welcome to smartphone. 22 thumbs. Your connection is unstable. Figures. I guess it reconnected. Maybe. It said my connection was unstable. But yeah, add in all of Carmen's thumbs in the chat. That gets me over 28. I'll look at that lens as soon as I log off here and see what it looks like. But yeah, I'll do some serious looking at it. Dude, it's been a lot of fun, guys. I've had a lot of fun tonight. I appreciate y'all joining in with me. Until next time, get your camera out and go take a picture with it. All right. We'll see you later. Bye-bye. Well, maybe.